Okay, I wanted to get in, cover a couple topics here and discuss some things that's going on in the crypto community and what I'm doing and what I'm seeing. So first off, before I get into it, nothing that I say is financial advice. Make sure to come over here to ZTrade and check out our terms and condition page. But let's go ahead and we're going to get right into it. First off, we had Cash App ran out of Bitcoin. They had a drought. They didn't have any left. Second off, I just wrote an article on BlackRock, how they're breaking records with the inflows. And I wanted to discuss the deficit that we're seeing here, the net deficit. So I'm just going to read this real quick, because we're going to go into a supply. It's already happening. We are in a supply crunch right now, and it's simple supply and demand. So I want to talk about what's going on with Bitcoin. I wanted to flame Jamie Dimon a little bit here. That's going to be a separate video. And I also wanted to talk about how I'm going about investing in this crypto halving, this Bitcoin halving, and how everything's running in the Ethereum spot ETF. I'm going to try to talk about this as fast as I can here since I have 15 minutes. So a case for supply and demand, 900 Bitcoin are mined daily. This is going to be cut after the halving, right at the halving, which is April 18th to April 24th, sometime in there, coming up in just under 2 months. Hence the word halving. When there's a halving, half the amount are mined, meaning that there's half the amount for miners to sell since they're accumulating half, and they're responsible for $1 billion a month in selling. So then there's less selling pressure. Then there's people buying because there's less and they know it's going to go up because that's what it's always done, and they're speculating that it will, and it's never not done that. And this time we have BlackRock behind us, Fidelity, Grayscale, right? Wisdom Tree. And this hasn't even hit banks yet, right? We can get them on some of the brokers now, a spot ETF, not an ETN that's connected to futures, right? Which futures contracts rot, they're not as good, but a spot ETF. So banks you can't buy. When that changes, then there's even more of a supply crunch, and there's another bullish catalyst for Bitcoin. Then what happens whenever we there's talks of Bitcoin being added to the S&P and the NASDAQ. That's going to be a thing that they're going to push for in the future. There's talks that they're going to be pushing for that. So then everyone who has a retirement account with a company that invests in that company, right, their 401k invests against, like let's say I don't know, I'm going to throw this out here. I don't know if that's true, if MassMutual does, but I had a crappy MassMutual fund at one of the jobs I had. I had a MassMutual retirement fund, right, for like 2050. I'm pretty sure, I'm not positive, don't quote me on this, that they invest in S&P funds, which a lot of retirement funds do, especially if you're younger. If they do, and Bitcoin was in the S&P, then you'd be forced to buy Bitcoin against your will. When you invest money and you allocate it towards your 401k and then there's matching, that's against your will, whether you hate it or not. The people that hate it, they really don't understand anything about it. Because if they did, they wouldn't hate it, right? So there is still more catalysts ahead fueling the fire on Bitcoin. So due to the halving event, BlackRock is acquiring 6,200 Bitcoin daily. This was, keep in mind, this article that I wrote is a week old. If BlackRock attempted to buy directly from miners, this would lead to a net deficit of around 5,300 Bitcoin, since only 900 created a day, and it's about to jump down to 450. This is a classic case of supply and demand. We're not even living in the post-2024 halving world yet, and we're already seeing astonishing performance. So when I posted this article of Bitcoin, I think it broke 60,000. Yeah, and 64,000, and we almost hit 70. We hit around 67 or so. Overall, BlackRock's IBIT continues to be a driving force in the Bitcoin ETF market, attracting significant investment and potentially contributing to the bullish sentiment surrounding the cryptocurrency. So I also wanted to come over here, right? So it looks like we're heading into supply issues, which what would that mean? That would mean that the price would go absolutely parabolic. Jamie Dimon said that the halving's already priced in. It doesn't work like that. You can't price in a halving, right? It's not like, it doesn't move like the 10-year does. Hey, we're cutting interest rates in 2 months, and the 10-year prices it in and drops in the market price. It doesn't work like that. These guys are stuck in the 80s, and they still yap their mouths off, and they're wrong. They have a track record of being wrong over and over and over. And then I run into people in public. Oh, did you hear what Jamie Dimon said? And it's like, well, I'm just not going to talk about it anymore, right? You don't want to learn. You don't want to take the time to learn, and you don't want to be open-minded, right, about this stuff. You're going to just shut off and be, boxed out into the past. That's fine. I'll get rich without you, right? And it's funny that people act like you're an idiot when you talk to some of these people that have big egos, right? With the profession they're in or whatever it may be. Like there's a guy at my gym that's an investment banker, and he's like with this smirk on his face. It has no value. It actually does. It costs money to mine it. There's value there. That's a whole separate video. There is a lot of value, and it is the best thing that I've ever seen currency, right? Seashells didn't work. The Italians trying to store their wealth in around just after the Middle Ages and the Enlightenment period and fine art because, hey, gold is inflationary. When the Spanish went off, this is another thing I'd like to hit. When the Spanish went off and they stole gold from all over the world, right? When they were colonizing everything and they brought it back to Spain, it destroyed their economy and it was extremely inflationary, and the price of gold dropped. So it's kind of like they didn't bring anything back at all because what you have is worthless. Maybe at first, if you had quickly bought land and houses, but after that, it's like, then it just devalued, and it's like you have the same amount, but just more of it. Its value is the same. Like if you have 100,000 net worth, but I bring $1 million in gold back, maybe for a quick second it'd be worth more. But then now I have, instead of, 10 kilos of gold, I have 20, or 100 kilos of gold, but it's still worth, the buying power is 100,000, right? And, if you think about it, there's nothing ever been created this good, because it's like, let's say I had a pile of gold, right? Someone wanted to take it from me, they could attack me or unalive me or something like that and take it. Bitcoin, if it's in cold storage, it's in my head. No one can take it with me. It would go with me to the grave if that's what I chose to do, or someone was being very hostile. I can travel anywhere in the world with it. I can't travel with gold, can I? Can I travel with cash in US dollars? No. I can, trading view, get out of here. So I can go anywhere in the world with it. No one can do anything about it. And that's what I like about it. And it's also capped. Gold isn't capped. We're still mining gold. It's inflationary a little bit. And then on top of that, you have like talks with Google talking about lassoing asteroids to pull it back for the platinum and the metals. Then it would be the same case as what happened in Spain, right? So that would just tank that. So it's like, where can you go? Bitcoin's capped. It can't be edited. Satoshi, the people, the founders, they own 80% of it, and they can, no. Out of all the whales, including Satoshi, 12% of it is owned by them. Well, Bitcoin's went up like 50% in a month, right? Go ahead and sell it. It would just give everyone a better buying opportunity, right? And make people even more rich. I've been having that argument. I'm constantly having to defend myself against people's stupid arguments who won't take the time to understand what this is. At the end of the day, it goes, so you want to be broke, that's fine, right? At the end of the day, every single time, every time there was a halving, it's exploded every time, right? And if it does explode and you missed out, instead of being egotistical, sit back and be like, maybe I'm wrong. Let me analyze that. Maybe I need to rewire my brain, right? Now, the last thing I want to cover here, I'm seeing I did this. Here's where I screwed up. I'm going to talk about me. During this halving over in here, this 2016 halving, you can see how it's popping earlier and earlier till there's only going to be small dips of maybe a year, maybe 8 months in the future in between halvings before it starts pricing in and running again. That's what I'm predicting is going to happen. But I, like an idiot, Litecoin, right? Didn't really matter, but Litecoin, it would pop up and then I would sell it. And then it would pop up and then I would sell it. Then it would pop higher and then it would drop down. I'd be like, it's going to keep going. I would sell it and it would pop up again. What? Why? Why? Oh, because last time it dropped. Well, what if it doesn't do that the next time? Right? What if it doesn't do that the next time? What if it pops up, right? And you sell it and then it just keeps going. So we're going to use 2 examples here. We're going to come over to here because we can see this a little bit more clearly. If you look back, I look back and I just cutting through all the noise. Wouldn't it be smart of me just to buy it and shut up and wait about 6 months after the halving and start trimming, right? That's what I've concluded with myself. I'm not telling you all to do anything. This is just for me, right? So there's 2 ways to look at this. Let's take a look at right here. Let's say Bitcoin's at 9,000, then it dropped to 4,000. Dang it, right? I could have sold and it would have dropped and accumulated almost double, pretty much double the amount of Bitcoin because I sold it at 9,000. It dropped, got cut in half. I could have rebought with that money, been up double, then it shot up, right? So the fact that you didn't do that, that's, you could have had double, which would have doubled your investment, right? So that affects your net worth. But then there's also another thing that can affect your net worth. You selling on a pop, okay, here at 14,000, then you get boxed out and it shoots up to 28,000. That just affected your net worth by double right there as far as the money with the Bitcoin. Both affected you 100%. Right? People just view it as, oh my gosh, the downside affects me. Well, you missing out affects you. Your bank account is different. If you didn't sell and buy the dip, or if you didn't buy at all, or if you sold thinking it would come down and it exploded. If I missed out on this pop, my bank account looks different in net worth. Right? What's a bigger risk in my opinion? It dropping and me not and I didn't sell and I couldn't buy double when it gets cut in half, right? Or missing out. Well, what has a higher probability? When would be the worst time to be trying to sell the tops and hoping for a pullback? Right here. It didn't happen. If you sold, you got boxed out and you never got back in. And I'm having people call me, oh, is it going to pull back? Well, wait, I should have sold it. Here's what I'm going to... And it's just like, dude, go about, I don't want anything to do with you. I told you what I'm doing. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to buy it and shut up. If I couldn't handle it emotionally, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't. Emotions are a good thing because a lot of times they're like, hey, this company's going bankrupt. Maybe I should sell it. You should probably listen to those emotions. Why would I be trying to trade it when it's going vertical? Now, if it's futures contracts on some of these alts that some of these brokers, hey, if you want to have fun, that's up to you. That's a different story. That isn't the same as getting boxed out. That is a huge risk. If I had a whole coin at 10,000 and I got boxed out and went to 67, I've now lost, in my opinion, that's losing $50,000. That's a down payment on a new construction home anywhere in the country. That's, Texas, Florida. That's a house, right? I'm not going to risk a house because I think it looks kind of toppy, right? Just, here's what I'm doing. Let me show you the secret. We got a minute left. Look at the RSI. I'm going to wait for the divergence. Every time there's divergence, there ends up being a pullback, right? It really wasn't. Yeah, there was. Really wasn't. Yes, there was. RSI was dropping on this candle. That one I really don't like. We went vertical and pulled back. Beautiful divergence here. RSI is lower than it is here, yet we went higher, right? Now, does that mean there'll be divergence this time? Maybe, maybe not. We had divergence over here too on this pop, right? With the 2012 halving when it ended up popping in 2013 and 2014. So, I'm going to simply wait and I'm going to sell it at the end of the year. I'm going to start trimming November and December and early 2025. If you guys like this content, make sure to like and follow for more.